Live from I don't know where. It's the Geek Show.
Let's just start the theme and then we'll explain what happened. Go ahead. Okay, not broadcasting from BREWVIES today. BREWVIES clocks are hard. BREWVIES did not open for us, so Tony and I stood in the parking lot of BREWVIES, watching the eclipse, listening to Pink Floyd.
Yeah, we had a moment,
and it was really kind of strange when I was standing there watching the eclipse, listening to the song "Eclipse" by Pink Floyd, and crows appeared out of nowhere and started cawing at me.
Magic.
It was magic. It was a moment. It was a magic moment.
Sad I didn't leave 10 minutes earlier to not go to BREWVIES.
But yeah, there you go. So yeah, they didn't open, and so we'll re-examine that whole thing later.
Yeah, you already know my vote.
So Rebecca's in her place, and Lee's in his place, and I'm in my place, and Tony is across the table from me. But now he's gone.
What?
He's not there now.
Tony.
So, it was definitely because we're packing up gear and putting it back together and everything, and we wanted to start as close to start time as possible, and so here we are. Yeah, they were Frank Christ crows, Brett. They were exactly those.
You got two boys in the basement.
Yep.
Hi, Tony.
Now mute yourself, Tony, and we'll be fine. Yes. See, this will work. See, this will work. See, there we go. Ta-da!
It's got to go to space and back. Just like give it some time.
What a morning.
I went to space last week.
Anyway, and maybe even Jay will join us. He usually can't because he's out of state, but maybe he will. I texted him. I texted him earlier, so keep an eye on the room there, and maybe he'll show up. Tony is right across the street. Right across from
Carrie.
Hi, Tony. How you doing?
What's it like doing the show live there, Carrie?
It's strange. Yeah. It's strange to have someone here with me, physically.
I have to wear pants. It's weird.
Oh, you were gonna have to wear pants today anyway.
You don't have to wear pants.
Thanks, Carrie.
While we're doing our levels, I realized my suspenders were showing, and I was like, I don't know if we're ready for country time theater yet. So
I got the mustache for it.
Yeah. Did you start wearing suspenders now that you're back from North Carolina?
No, I've had them for about a year, and I don't like them. It's the inevitability, the creeping onset of age, where belts just stop being a thing that work. So suspenders had to start becoming a thing.
What, do physics change as you get older?
No, it's actually the size of my pendulous belly.
Okay.
Like if I lie on my back, the sun and my belly can work together to help you tell the time. So now I just wear suspenders. There was a time in my life where I would have just said, I'm going to work out, I'm going to diet, I'm going to do healthy things. Now I'm 54. I just kind of look and go,
I'm just glad to know that you're on leakade time. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
It's leakade time. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we'll re-examine the Saturday matinee and BREWVIES and all that. I don't predict a return, but who knows?
I'm not going back.
Let's get on with news. And I hope you saw we got another trailer for Monarch Sea of the Monsters. This is the TV show, the Godzillas with the Kurt Russell and his kid.
Oh yeah.
And we longer look at it this time, and it looks like monsters. Not just Godzilla, not just Kong, but more monsters. And according to Matt Shannon, who is the guy who's it, but it's pretty clear that the Russell boys are not the sole focus of the show. Anna Saway's character looks like she's going to be the conduit for us, the audience. And so it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. January 12th is when that starts up. All right, let's see. Lee, I hope you saw this trailer, because I was thinking of you when I saw this trailer for BlueEye Samurai. I know you've been traveling, but
I saw the first trailer, and I was reading about the second trailer when there was an accident on my trip. So I've not seen it, but I was told by multiple people that this was made for me.
It absolutely is made for you. It looks great. It looks like a great story. The voice cast is incredible. It's BlueEye Samurai. It's going to be on Netflix starting November 3rd, so very, very soon. And it's written by Michael Green and Amber Nazumi. And Nazumi, who is half Japanese, she had her own feelings about her daughter when daughter was born, and the initial excitement about how she racially presented. She says, why am I so excited that my daughter has blue eyes? What's the big deal about that? Why am I so excited that I have a baby who looks more white? And then she recalls back in the Edo period, starting in the 17th century Japan, it would have been illegal to be white. Nobody would have wanted to look like that. So that's sort of the impetus for BlueEye Samurai. It takes place in the 17th century. And the story is Mizu, who is a mixed-race samurai commonly described by others as a blue-eyed monster, who calls herself a creature of shame, living a life in disguise, and she seeks to kill 4 men. One may be her father, in a place where under the law revenge is a luxury for men and women must be practical. But Mizu has no patience or time for men. Friendship, love, or weakness is how the way they describe this whole show. But the animation just looks amazing. It looks like a real cool story. It's violent as hell, it looks like. You've got a lot of great voice actors here. George Takei, Randall Park, Kenneth Branagh, Ming Na. They're all there. So
nice.
It's just going to be a great looking show. Nazumi and Green, writer on Logan and Blade Runner 2049. They have co-created the show.
Cool.
It looks great. It just looks great. And I immediately thought of Lee when I saw it. And I immediately thought of Rebecca when I saw this. Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah, boy.
Lisa Frankenstein focus features horror comedy from Diablo Cody is going to be in theaters February 9th. The film is about a misunderstood teenager and her high school crush, helmed by Zelda Williams in her feature directorial debut. The first look, which was released by Focus Features, Lisa Frankenstein, stars Catherine Newton, Cole Sprouse, and a whole bunch of other people, sees a corpse seemingly wakened from a tanning bed by a young woman.
What?
Yeah, horror romance, unpopular high school student falling for a young man who just happens to be a handsome Victorian corpse.
That's the Cole Sprouse character.
Yeah,
I
that's
assume.
Naturally, yeah. After horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two lovers embark on a murderous journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts along the way. Lisa,
It has some. So like I saw like the little preview thing, and it is giving like Warm Bodies vibes. If you saw Warm Bodies,
yes.
Okay, I liked that movie.
yeah.
That was a feeling I got too when I was watching it. Anyway, so Lisa Frankenstein in February. How many of you watched Loki episode 2?
Is that out?
Yeah.
Season 2?
We're doing a rewatch of the first season.
That's a good idea.
You gotta, honestly.
I forgot how good that is. That first season is
Well,
good.
the second season is good too, but
Excellent.
I feel left out because I forgot a lot of stuff from season 1.
Well, and I think this second episode made some choices because the first episode of this new season started out at a 10, and this next episode doesn't really do much to set the stage for like how much time has passed after the first episode. So I was like, are we in a different branch? Because like it felt like a different story almost.
We may be in a different branch. I honestly, it's confusing but fascinating to me at the same time.
And that's like the whole thing. it could be any timeline,
Yeah.
you know, any branch.
Yeah.
So,
So I just assume they know what they're doing, but I mean, after the whole revelation about Marvel TV that came out like last week,
yeah.
on,
And we got
I don't
that coming
know.
up. We got that coming up. Loki season 2 premiere did very well
nice.
with the numbers. Apparently, I know you like to have views. 10.9 million views worldwide over its first 3 days, plus a few hours. And that's defined by the increasingly industry standard formula of total viewing time divided by run time. That's the new metric.
I guess that makes sense.
I guess.
Because you count one viewing as the length of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Loki's 3-day total compares well to that of Star Wars series Ahsoka, which debuted August 14, in August to 14 million views per Disney. So it's doing well, and Loki is one of their highest rated Marvel series,
yeah, for good reason.
which we
yeah,
will-
it's one of the better, more well put together shows.
yeah.
I don't like gods on my superhero shows.
Get out of here, Lee.
But like, here's the thing: Loki in episode 2 gets to do more Loki stuff, and I didn't realize like how much we needed that, because I felt like we didn't get a whole lot of that in the first season. But this second episode, you're like, oh, Loki doing Loki stuff,
Yeah,
very cool.
Because he's been happy-go-lucky Loki for a while, but now something happens in this episode that he needs to be the bad guy.
Oh, I'm excited.
Duh.
Oh, did you know Carrie knows Billie Eilish?
Now, we're going to talk more about the Marvel TV series coming up, but we did get some casting. Ironheart, which is a series that they pushed back again, but a new listing at the United States Copyright Office. This is geeks are everywhere, and they're looking at stuff. It confirms that Sacha Baron Cohen will appear in Ironheart as Mystery Man. It does not.
Oh, I
that's
thought that was the character.
The
for a
character's
minute.
name is Mystery Man,
Oh, it is.
or he is a mystery man.
That's
Sacha
what I
Baron
want to
Cohen
know.
was like we knew he was going to be part of this already,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah,
But we've been speculating that it's Mephisto.
yeah.
Oh, he would
be a
make
good
such a
Mephisto.
good Mephisto.
But I don't know a mystery man in Marvel
I can't think of
history, and I looked, couldn't find one. We do know that Aldrin Einreich will play a character named McGillicuddy, which I didn't bother looking up because I was so busy looking for Mystery Man.
one. What's that person's name?
Alden
Alden Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich.
That's
Han
a Star Wars
Solo.
name.
Han Solo.
Well, he was in Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
yeah,
so.
yeah.
I wish they'd kind of like redo her intro, because she was so shoehorned into the second Black Panther movie that
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, wow, cool guys.
Well, maybe this series will go back a bit and
Maybe.
retrace
I hope.
those steps.
Like, great character, right? So
Oh, the
But
comic
also-
book is terrific.
Yeah.
Why introduce Mephisto in an Ironheart series? Why not like in that Agatha Coven of Chaos or whatever it's called now?
Will you think about like what's the one thing that can take down Superman is
A rock.
magic or a rock, but magic is something he's absolutely has no immunity to.
Yeah.
So taking magic versus technology is something they haven't done in the Marvel universe yet, where what's Iron Man, what's Ironheart, what's somebody in power armor going to do against a sorcerer or a god, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I just had to throw that at you. If you were wondering where the Spiderwick Chronicles was going to land after Disney Plus said no, thank you.
I was.
Man.
You were?
No.
Were you the one? Okay. It's the good news is it has been picked up. The bad news is it's the Roku channel. So
What's so bad about the Roku channel brought us such great hits like the Weird Al Yankovic biography movie.
That was a good movie.
And
But I was able to
name
watch.
anything else.
But I was going to say I was able to watch the Weird Al Yankovic movie not on the Roku channel. Everything else I have to go to the Roku channel to watch, like Toast of Tinseltown, which is on the Roku channel right now. I tried all my other ways and I couldn't.
Huh.
I have Roku on our TV upstairs in the gym.
Uh-huh.
We tried to get it to talk to the other TVs, but it would not.
So what I'm hearing is you can only watch those shows if you're working out.
Yeah, which means I'm not going to watch them.
Have you tried going down the hall to the parlor or perhaps the bowling alley?
Oh, I could try that. Okay.
Where's the bowling alley? You've been hiding it from me?
Bowling's a workout. It's that way.
Oh, okay.
It's the 10-pin bowling.
Yeah.
That he's so fond of.
Exactly. I'm old-fashioned that way. Let's see. Invincible Season 2.
Yeah.
November 3rd. It's on its way.
Excellent.
And the first trailer...
Not for kids?
Not for kids. No. It's a cartoon, not for kids.
Yep.
It was a lot. But we found out that Tatiana Maslany, I'm trying to remember to say her name right. Maslany is two characters, voicing two characters in it.
Cool.
How? She'll never be able to play two characters on the same show.
I know,
She
right?
can't
Never.
do various voices.
But we got Tim Robinson, Callista Flockhart, Chloe Bennett, Rhea Seahorn, David Diggs, a lot of great people. But Tatiana, our current She-Hulk, is bringing her, it says here, superhero credentials to the Prime Video animated series. Her voice as Queen Lizard in the Ruby Red Invincible spin-off, she's going to be there. She will also play she's playing three characters. General Telia and Queen Aquaria.
What is she? Some kind of clone? I mean,
General... Huh?
Maybe if she could prove to us that she's capable of playing more than one character, I'd believe it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
General Telia described as a decorated general for the coalition of planets with a zero-tolerance policy for Viltrumite aggression. Mm-hmm. She likes to keep her private life private for now. Queen Aquaria is the sole monarch of the Atlanteans and their undersea kingdom after her husband Aquarius was murdered by Omni-Man. Oh, a beloved leader who rules with an iron fin. She seeks retribution for her husband's death through unconventional means.
So her husband was the fish guy in the Guardians of the Globe.
That's right.
That he killed in
kill.
the first or second episode.
So season 2, the wife comes.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I tried to watch that show, and it was really good, but it got to a point where it was too bloody for me.
What?
Really?
He's a gentle little lamb, our lead.
No,
Even in a cartoon?
Well, that was the thing, is it was just so much. And I even saw scenes where his dad was like pushing Invincible through people in a train and they were just exploding, and I was just it was too much for me. So and I made it through The Boys. It was worse. It was more extreme than The Boys.
Yeah, that's but cartoon.
I don't know.
See, I've read all the comics, and the top 3 of comics for me of all time. Mm-hmm. So I was totally expecting the gore, the extreme violence, and the blood.
You're looking forward to it, actually.
I was, yes.
All right. How about Michael Myers, the TV show? What do you think?
Huh?
Here's
the thing. The second of the new Halloween movies where they just said "Evil Dies Tonight" like 1,000 times. I don't know that I can handle a whole show of that.
Well, Miramax has scored the TV rights to the Halloween franchise, and they're looking at developing not just a TV show, but a whole full universe that expands into film as well.
So they're going to bring Michael Myers to TV and then to film?
Oh, you guys are talking about Halloween.
I
was thinking like a new
You're
Love
thinking
Guru
about Austin
movie.
Powers?
Powers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Love Guru. He did a Love Guru reference. You have to give Tony some points for that.
No.
Deadline broke the news of the deal. Apparently it was made after a big heated bidding war between multiple companies, and Miramax, which already held the film rights, they ultimately won. And now they're collaborating with overall rights holders, Trancas International Films. They want to make a Halloween TV show, which will be part of the franchise going bigger than ever. Universal Pictures, in association with Blumhouse, they released those 3 that Rebecca was talking about. Miramax was part of that as holders of the film rights. So now with the TV rights as well, they can go, as the article says here, for the full Marvel. Adding
I don't need the full Marvel with Michael Myers, honestly. But that's just me.
I wonder if they got a discount for bundling
Maybe.
TV and movie.
Like it's cable, yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, if they went like the Gilmore Girls route with him, and he just like opened an inn with his best friend, and they had talks, and they talked about their difficult relationships, and sometimes Michael Myers would be like, "Oh, it's really hard raising a kid without being a single dad."
They open a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
This is Jason, and this is my other brother, Jason.
Yeah, and Carol Kane can do the opening song. It'll be great.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
Carol Kane, sorry. Carol Kane's a whole other person.
This is... I know who you meant, though. This is the part of the show where I apologize to Star Trek fans.
What? Why?
Because
There we go.
I said that this silly thing that they did wouldn't work.
I did too.
I think we all
Yeah.
laughed at them. So I think maybe we all, not just me. I'll lead the charge, but
Okay.
Star Trek Prodigy is going to Netflix.
Carrie, I can't believe it. Listen, I cannot believe you of all people said this wouldn't work. How was Star Trek saved in the first place?
And it wasn't with a plane dragging a
fan
sign.
campaign, okay? You doubt Star Trek fans?
But see, that was then and this is now. And so I...
But if you look at the internet, it appears that all the fans hate everything new in Star Trek unless it's Strange New Worlds.
Exactly.
So
What part of the internet are you on?
the one that whines and complains about everything always.
The part that I'm on loves everything.
Yeah, they like, so the people I see, it's like, oh, if it's not Strange New Worlds, they just don't care. They hate Discovery. They didn't like Prodigy was too kid show, and then when it was canceled, all of a sudden they all loved it. But,
Wow, I'm hearing a lot of Lower Decks erasure in this conversation.
Oh yeah, I forget about Lower Decks because it's so good. I mean, I love it.
Well, Netflix has said we'll take the first season and go ahead and finish up that second season, and we'll take that when you're done, because it was halfway done when they canceled. And this is after the GoFundMe campaign that resulted in a plane flying over the offices of Netflix in August, and I laughed at you guys for doing that. And well, I'm sorry.
Who's
You were
laughing now?
You
Carrie?
should be sorry.
The Prodigy fans made it happen, I guess. Maybe their little plane stunt worked.
Their silly little letter writing campaign to save Star Trek, the original series, worked somehow.
But see, Rebecca, that was back in the day when you could take a bag of mail and pour it on an exec's desk and say, all of these letters are from Santa Claus, or whatever it is.
You can't pour a bag of email on an executive's desk.
No. And the executive would go, I bet half of those are fake anyway.
Yeah, bots.
All right. Now some news for Tony.
Yes, finally.
You're going to love this, by the way. So there's a big interview with Dan Harmon in The Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I read it.
Talking about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Rick and Morty movie is going to happen because Zack Snyder. I know. I was just going to let you
The
let
most
that...
insufferable group of people
I know.
coming together.
Wait, I like both of those things too, though. What does that make me?
So according to Harmon...
Insufferable, Tony.
According to Dan Harmon, Zack Snyder summoned him to Warner Brothers to discuss doing a Rick and Morty film.
Summon.
He's like,
Bring me Dan Harmon.
Come to this stoop, perch upon a gargoyle, and brood while I talk at you.
Now here's how Dan Harmon put it. This is not him saying I get to do it or anything like that. He's just totally a super fan, and he said, "Is there any way I can help get the movie started by using my Snyderness?"
Could you pull all the color and joy out of it?
Could use we can use his Snyderness by getting just a bunch of bots on Twitter to release the Morty cut or some shit.
Because that's what Zach did, yeah. So the Rick and Morty movie is coming as soon as Zack Snyder gets back from his vacation, because I want to start a Snyder cut of that movie, and then I want to do a director's cut of a Snyder cut release so we can have a 6-hour Rick and Morty movie and 3 hours of it in black and white.
This
Yes,
isn't real.
He gets it.
This cannot be real.
He gets it.
I am looking forward to Rebel Moon, though.
Rebel Moon looks cool.
It does look interesting, doesn't it?
I'm really excited that someone's finally going to make a good Star Wars movie.
Here's the
Got
thing,
him.
though. We thought
Boom.
that that one movie that he did was gonna look cool too. That other Netflix thing that he
What,
did.
the Guardians of Ga'Hoole or whatever it was?
Oh, no,
What was
yeah,
it?
the bank heist
zombies-
one in
the
Las
zombie-
Vegas when it's all
I
zombies.
loved that.
Does,
I thought it was a fun movie.
with
Yeah,
Drax.
Batista.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What
Drax
about
and
the one-
Tignataro. Yeah.
yeah, that.
I enjoyed it.
I loved it because afterwards I watched the making of where they showed how they got rid of the asshole and put Tignataro in and all the scenes.
That was fascinating, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was really amazing and cost a lot of money. And then Tig's like, "Yeah, I'll fly the helicopter.
Just point me in the right direction.
Yeah, I
I'll
got
do
it,
it, whatever it is.
Hey, you gotta hurry this up. I gotta go fix a thing on a Star Trek."
Yeah, and then I gotta,
Tignataro's great.
go do my podcast. And
Yeah.
all right. Okay. Maybe this is good news for Rebecca. I don't know.
Zack Snyder been ejected into space.
Hey,
There he
oh,
goes.
come on now. Hey, whoa.
And now, Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
This, I was equally sad and happy with this news because you guys know what a big Daredevil fan I am. I love that Netflix series. I rewatch it all the time. It's my go-to whenever I have, a half hour to kill or something. I'll rewatch it, over and over. Because it is perfect. People ask me why I like it so much, and I said it's like reading a Daredevil comic book. It's right there. If you want to know what reading a Daredevil comic book is like, it's all right there. So then they get the 18-episode order for Daredevil Born Again, and during the writer's strike, Kevin Feige and a bunch of the people in Marvel sat down, watched the footage, and said, "This isn't working."
Ooh.
And that led to an even deeper navel gaze in Marvel TV about how we make shows. And they realized that the mistakes that they've been making is they're not following a TV model. They're making long movies.
Right.
And so they said, maybe we should, TV shows are this, movies are this. Maybe we should. So now they're separating. Feige will be in the film division. I mean, he'll have some say,
Right.
but there will be a TV division and a film division, and they're going to hire showrunners.
What a concept.
I know, right?
They didn't have that before?
No, because the showrunner sets the tone of the show.
Right.
He's the one who, and he they also haven't had show Bibles, the reference stuff.
That's insane to me.
Isn't that crazy, right?
Especially after WandaVision, because that felt like a show that was show run and had a
that
Bible.
was run by a showrunner, had a show Bible like that. That was one of the only shows of the whole bunch of them that felt like they actually knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
True.
Now,
So
and
true.
I read an article that said the first 3 episodes of this Born Again thing, Matt doesn't even put on the costume.
Oh, Hulk syndrome.
It's
Courtroom.
It's courtroom drama.
show.
No.
that's what they were doing. You're right, Rebecca. No, you're absolutely right. That's what happened.
You don't. I want to see Matt Murdock. I care more about Matt Murdock as a lawyer than I do about him as Daredevil.
I'm so sorry you have to leave the show now.
And but see, I'm 50-50 on that. I care about both of them equally because it's my favorite. Anyway, so they're going to save some of the footage. They're going to use some of it, some of the plot points, possibly, but they're starting over.
Wow.
They fired the directors. Well, not fired. They're going to be executive producers now.
Oh.
They're looking for new writers and a showrunner who's going to set the tone for the show. It just means that we're going to get a better Daredevil, but I have to wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
But on the
mean-
plus side,
oh!
maybe
If only they didn't keep postponing like Captain Marvel movies. If
Is
only
that still coming out?
that's what they say.
See, I think
I
Lee,
hear it's
Lee,
coming to.
let's
hear it's
check.
coming-
Let's check Lee George Cade time. Is it still coming out?
Hey,
Lay
I'm
down,
always
Lee.
on time. I'm just excited that the Marvels is finally coming out on Hulu in 2026.
All right. Now, I got a couple of Disney stories. First, the bad news, and second, the good news.
All right.
The bad news is they talked, and I had the story for you a couple of weeks ago about how Disney says we're expanding our parks. We're going to do all this fabulous stuff with them. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get new rides, new attractions, new all this stuff. They're going to get bigger. We've got some land we're buying, all this. They didn't tell us that, we're going to wind up paying for it.
Well, the taxpayers?
No, us people who attend the parks, we're paying for it. That's how they're paying for it.
How else did you think it was going to get paid for?
I thought they had Disney dollars.
They're reserves. They're not the LDS Church. They don't just have. They don't just have billions of dollars in reserve.
You got me.
Yeah, empty buildings here and there. Anyway, Disney World. The price of an annual pass is going to rise between $40 and $50, depending on the pass.
How much does it cost right now?
Well, right now the Disney Incredipass, which is the best one you can get for Disney World.
Okay.
$1,500
for a season.
That's for
a day.
I think it's for I'm not sure what the Incredipass is. I won't lie to you. I don't know what that is.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Look it up.
Homework for you.
Thank you,
But
Rebecca.
that means you could go to Disney World every day if you wanted to, right?
The Disney Incredipass is all 4 parks, no blackout dates.
Oh, so that's you could live there. Okay, that's actually a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah.
That's $1,000. You go 4 times and you've paid for it already.
Exactly.
You throw in a once monthly buffet at Tortilla Joe's down the road in downtown Disney, I'd do it.
Yeah, so admission to 1 or more Walt Disney World Resort theme parks during the year with an advance reservation, no blackout dates. Might make and hold up to 5 theme park reservations at a time on a rolling basis. Standard parking. And discounts on dining, merchandise, and more.
All right, so that's gone up. The parking is going up from $25 to $30. Which
was 50 cents.
That's what you guys paid to park at FanX.
That is what I paid to park at FanX.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. Okay. Disney notes it's not raising prices at Disney Worlds for its date-based tickets, and that its lowest price ticket has remained $109 the past 5 years. So don't hate us.
Come on, guys, we threw you this bone.
We're throwing you a bone.
Meanwhile, Disneyland prices are rising for almost every ticket option. Daily and multi-day tickets will see price hikes between 4 and 15%. Most price hikes in the 7 to 9% range. However, the least expensive ticket option will remain at $104. It's the same price as it has been since 2019, so don't hate us. The price of its Magic Key annual pass will rise between 3% and 21%, topping out with the Inspire Pass at more than Disney World, $1,649.
What? It's clearly the better park. You don't have to go to Florida.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. There's also going to be a price increase for parking in the Genie Plus add-on offering. Company notes that it's bringing back the Park Hopper option to Disney World, which is something that's not been available for a while. But anyway, yeah, they're raising the prices. But the good news is, and I want you to go online and find this video footage, because you'll say to yourself, I'll pay all that money just to see.
You have my attention.
Just to see the BD droids.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, they're so cute.
I did see this.
Did you see them?
They're awesome.
Go to Geekshow. If you're on Twitter, go to Geekshow Twitter, because I retweeted every time somebody sent it to me. I retweeted it from Geekshow Twitter.
I love them because in the video game, they're BD flies around they're fast and they're little and they just hop around places. These boys are huge and slow.
Yeah,
they're about as they're like a large ball, So I mean, they're about that size. They're bigger than because the ones in the video game are right on your shoulder, but these are bigger. They're not. They're still not huge though. They're about knee high.
Lumber around.
Now, if droids drove mechs, this BD mech would be what BD drove if he drove a mech. Yeah. I got there.
That's layers is what that is.
Yeah.
But there's 3 of them, and they're walking in a line, and they're semi-autonomous. They were, I know, Lee, I'm sorry. They were training them.
Yeah, great.
Training.
And they would scan and they would stop so they wouldn't bump into things. I mean,
So they're Roombas?
They cock
The
their
real
heads.
Roomba technology?
How much are they?
They cock their heads from side to side and they blink and they beep at you.
Is the BD droid?
But you have to ask.
Well, these aren't for sale. These aren't for sale.
Oh, they just walk around?
Everything has a price, Carrie.
I don't know. I'm watching the video right now. I think these are going to kill everybody at the park.
You think that about all the robots?
He's
I
not
mean,
wrong.
you can get a BD at the Droid Depot.
Yeah,
I'm
but not
looking
these.
at these guys. I'm seeing Battlestar Galactica. This is how it starts.
The Cylons. This is how
Yep.
it begins.
They just want everybody's like, oh, these are cute, and then they laser you.
They just, I after reading about the price hikes and everything, and I thought, well, I'm not going back to Disneyland anytime soon. And then I saw the robots, and I went, I need to see them and hold them. I need to.
What they remind me of, not so much in design, and actually kind of in design. They remind me of the droids from Silent Running, Carrie.
A little bit, don't they?
Yeah.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie, yeah?
Yeah, the way they're just kind of walking around. By the way, if you folks think that movies are just now woke, you need to go back and watch Silent Running from like 1974.
Exactly.
Is that woke?
Oh, it's an old movie.
Yeah, it's more woke than anything we've made since. Like, it might as well be called Woken Running.
Woke running is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. And again, we've been talking about physical media and how you need to hang on to your physical media.
Is this the Best Buy news?
This is the Best Buy news. They are ridding
More like
themselves.
Worst Buy.
Thank
Got
you.
him.
There's that microphone. It's Rebecca Frost doing a microphone drop. Best Buy says they're ridding themselves of all DVDs. Now, they don't say Blu-rays.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So
I mean,
it's not as bad.
But it could just be a wording mishap. I went through the press release and it just said DVDs. I wonder, is that Blu-rays too?
I bet it's not.
I thought every article I saw said Blu-rays.
They did?
Oh,
10 points to Rebecca. Thank you.
Well, I
look
mean,
it up. I'm looking
so
up.
hold on. So I'm
Look it
looking at
up.
an article on Variety, and their
Because that's where the
headlines-
story's from.
Yeah, so their headline says DVD and Blu-ray sales, but then they've updated the article to say DVD business. So
Okay.
maybe you are correct in that they will keep Blu-rays.
I was gonna quote Collider, but I know how we feel
Yeah,
about that.
We've been bitten. We've been bitten before.
Mike in chat says it's everything. Steelbooks, 4K, all of it.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Yeah.
It's all of it? It says they're still going to sell video games.
So here's my
No, there's still a big enough market for that.
Here's my question. We're really big on physical media. I get that, and because
Yes.
of that, I've been buying more physical media. And then paranoid guy in the back of my head said, "Hey, don't your players like your PlayStation and your Xboxes and all that stuff, don't they have to have firmware updates that make it so that they can continue to operate?" Because I seem to remember my PlayStation not being able to play media until I did the firmware update. So
That was an issue with that specific model.
with like the PS4. So
Yeah.
I only ask because, like, do we need to buy dedicated Blu-ray players that aren't connected to something and don't need firmware updates? Because
Well, I'm going to buy a couple of new ones because I've been trying to watch my Blu-rays, and the ones that the players I have suck. So
Yeah.
I need to get new ones.
It's not a bad idea to get it
Because I have a Blu-ray collection of all the classic Universal horror monster movies, and
they're so good.
I wanted to watch The Invisible Man because I'm doing my Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Frederick March
and I couldn't because the Blu-ray player it wouldn't read the Blu-ray. So
Are you sure it wasn't playing it on the screen, but it was invisible?
So Carrie, I need you to
you're
watch.
twisting my melon, Tony.
After you get done with Bride of Frankenstein, I need you to watch Gods and Monsters.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm at right now with
Okay.
with my Rocky Horror Picture Show thing. Anyway, so they're going to sell the video games, but no Blu-rays apparently. Yeah, that's the steel. Oh, I like the steel boxes
steel
from
cases,
Blu-ray.
Collector's editions.
I've got all my Marvel movies in there in the steel box. That's too bad. But
Yeah.
Target still sells them. And
Yeah.
Because of what you were
Walmart.
saying, because of the
Amazon.
drum we're beating, I'm buying all the old anime classics. So I picked up the Black Lagoon,
that's a good idea.
late 90s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, get your Blu-rays because, like you said, these streaming services, they'll just pull them and not tell you. You know, they'll pull your favorite shows and not tell you, which is why I need Daredevil Netflix on a Blu-ray.
Now I'm curious to know if Best Buy is going to still offer it as a online purchasable, but maybe not in the store only.
Good question.
I don't know. I don't see a specific.
That's a good question because I thought those steelbooks were pretty popular with Best Buy.
Yeah, and they're usually the only place you can get them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. All right. Anyway, raise a glass, everybody. We don't do this often because it's kind of a bummer, but this one was a kind of a big one.
Somebody's taken out Guardians of the Galaxy creators.
I'll say, yeah.
Yep.
Keith Giffen, tragedy. He was 70.
Wow.
This is the comic book writer artist behind Lobo, if you're a DC fan.
Oh yeah,
Blue Beetle.
Ah,
You like the Blue Beetle? Rocket Raccoon.
Co-created Rocket. Yep.
Yep. He Legion of the Superheroes in the 80s and 90s. He was.
Oh wow.
He at one point the title was one of the top sellers. He was also an artist in the early 80s on a title Omega Men. I'm looking at his whole list of everything that he's done, and he's just all over the place.
Yep.
But hell of an artist, and a writer, and brought a lot of humor. He's the guy who came up with the one punch thrown by Batman at Guy Gardner.
Oh, great scene.
Which is a great scene. That's all him. Also Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Martian Manhunter, Shazam. He helped raise their profiles in that Justice League International title in '87. That's all him. So go and read some Keith Giffen. And
he had a sense of humor about it. Wasn't there like a statement released after his death that was like anything to get out of going to New York Comic Con?
Yeah, that was his tweet after he died. He told them to tweet that out after I'm dead. Anything to get out of going to New York Comic Con.
That's something we should all do. Like, just have one joke ready to fire from when you die.
Like a dead man switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as my Apple Watch loses my heartbeat, it starts to send these messages out.
So you better not ever take it off.
It's just great. That's so damn funny. And apparently he went out of his way to never smile when his picture was taken. So if you got a selfie, he would never smile. You know,
it's not like William Shatner.
Well,
no, William Shatner smiled, just not at anybody over the age of 30 or male.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, happy 60-year anniversary to that Twilight Zone episode with Shatner and there's a man on the wing.
Some man.
Oh yeah, he also did one where they had a little fortune teller devil doll thing on a tabletop in a cafe that was fantastic.
Okay, Rebecca, I have that action figure of Shatner from that episode, and I have a reproduction of the devil head. Put in a penny, get your fortune thing.
Yes.
It's full size and it works. And it was the most expensive napkin holder I've ever bought.
Oh.
Anyway, what did we consume this week? Who wants to go first? Lee didn't consume much, did you?
I consumed a lot on the plane.
Oh, plane rides, yeah.
Also, I was in North Carolina for about 8 days, and there's this whole thing. People say if you go to the South, you need to eat biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? Those people are right.
They were right.
Oh, good biscuits, huh?
Yeah,
and
those biscuits were amazing.
And every place has their own unique recipe and their own take on biscuits. And
there's a Maria Bamford bit where she's making fun of Paula Deen, and she's like, butter
biscuits.
Yeah. So I had biscuits that made me cry. I mean, I had emotional connections to some of these biscuits, but
These biscuits are
good biscuit. I can't say enough about a good biscuit, man.
We went to a place in downtown Boone, North Carolina, where they made a vegetarian biscuits and gravy recipe that I was always the best biscuits and gravy guy, but now they are. So good job.
You've handed them the title now?
Yeah, I took my sash off and handed it directly to them. But I watched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
On the airplane?
Have you not seen it yet?
On the airplane. So I've learned two things. A, it's a much better movie than I was ever going to give it any credit for.
Yeah.
And B, don't watch movies on the airplane because you can't hear any dialogue. So
Lee,
it must be an incredible movie.
This is not the first time you've encountered
headphones.
this, which is why I was so surprised that.
Well, it's a 4-hour flight. I mean, the other things you can do on an airplane are boring. So I would
Reading
just watch
books.
I have a police tummy, Rebecca.
Reading.
So anyway, while my wife was convalescing from an accident in Boone, Montana, we watched the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie, which is phenomenal. And-
For the first time?
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I've seen the old Pride and Prejudice from 19.
2005 Pride and Prejudice is such a formative movie.
Well,
I haven't
this
seen Rebecca
gal.
swoon like that.
Yeah.
Swoon.
That
so
was
Matthew McFadden made some choices with Darcy that I completely agree with, because Darcy's an asshole in the book. Darcy's an asshole in every retelling I've ever seen of the story. But in this, he just plays him as a socially awkward dude, and it works. 1,000%. 10 points to Matthew McFadden. So also,
the hand flex.
yeah, that's such a interesting thing. So many people are so caught up on that. And I was like, so he's got a spasmy hand.
No, it's because he helped Jane. He helped her into
It's because
the.
he touched a woman's hand without a glove on. And he got
And
a
he was
finger
like,
erection. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to see her ankle and completely lose his mind.
Sutherland? Donald Sutherland is there?
No, I'm giving you a hard time because I thought that was really cool. Leguizamo Does America.
Yes.
Phenomenal show.
Very good.
And
Is it about
finally,
It's a one-man show.
it's about it's him touring different Latino neighborhoods around the United States. So it starts in New York, he goes down to Miami, he goes to LA, and he interviews people and talks about contributions that Latinx people have made to American culture, and in the Florida one in particular answers the question of why are progressive people just tanking so hard with people in Latin cultures. And yeah, it's a must watch.
And well, see, I got that show confused with the one that I watched, which was a one-man show. John Leguizamo doing the history of the Latin people in America.
Yeah, and that is also a fantastic show. But this one is him.
educational.
It's on Peacock, and it's fantastic. In the New York episode in particular, he's like hanging out with some of the early hip hop guys that were there DJing at early hip hop shows, and it's just fantastic stuff. Gets into food, gets into dancing. Of course, it's Leguizamo; he's always dancing anyway. And then Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. I'm 4 episodes in, and I'm a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan, so I was really excited, thinking, "Oh, Fall of the House of Usher, great story." Well, no, it's every episode's a different Poe story.
So it's very, very. I watched the first 6 episodes in an evening because Mike Flanigan, you've done it again.
Yeah,
just has me in an absolute chokehold. It was.
Bruce
I
Greenwood is the dad, and boy,
Carla
boy.
Gugino needs to be arrested for how hot she is.
I know,
We've been
right?
saying that for 30 years since my kids. It's amazing because I was like, how do you? It was partway into the second episode. I was like, oh, they're doing a different story in every episode, and sometimes they only touch on it, like Murders in the Rue Morgue. Really hard to do that whole story in a modern day setting, but they pulled it off, and they actually pulled it off in an amazing way. Because how do you do a story about a primate that's killing people in, I think it's Streets of Venice?
Well, and like they've taken, because I haven't read every Edgar Allan Poe story, but I've read a lot, and it was so cool the way that not only he modernized these stories, but also interconnected them to tell this overall big story.
Right. And there's little homages that Edgar Allan Poe he throws in. Like one of the characters is developing a social media app called Goldbug. One of the first stories Edgar Allan Poe having success with was called Goldbug. The detective that I can't remember the actor. He's not a detective. He's like a cop, and he's interviewing the main bad guy, Bruce Greenwood's character. As he confesses to everything. That is actually that character on paper is the first detective ever. Like,
oh, really?
Edgar Allan Poe invented the mystery. And so that character is named after this.
Before Sherlock Holmes even? Or?
Sherlock Holmes was inspired by. Edgar Allan Poe only lived 40 years. He wrote all of his stuff, like, he died, I think, in the 1850s, and Arthur Conan Doyle's late 1800s. So it's like everything was inspired by him, even to the point where Alfred Hitchcock says if he hadn't read Poe when he was a little kid, he wouldn't have been a filmmaker. So it's like all these people just coming out and saying, yeah, I read this stuff and was mind blown. And so Agatha Christie read that stuff and said, yeah, I need to do that. So it's all Poe. So seeing this show, which is so clearly this love letter to a guy who only really wrote professionally for 18 years before he died, it's pretty wild. So highly recommend, but
I'll
real
start
gruesome.
it. I'll start it this weekend.
Real gruesome. Mask of the Red Death, hands down, my favorite episode so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, what was my favorite? What's my favorite episode? Because like I said, I watched it all. I think maybe the last one, The Raven. That one might be my favorite.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. Mask of the Red Death is like one of my favorite Vincent Price, Edgar Allan Poe movies. So seeing that interplay and the adaptation they made with it and what they did with Prospero, they did some fun stuff. So yeah, it is literally a love letter to probably the greatest American writer outside of maybe Walt Whitman, right? So
R.L. Stein, sir.
Goosebumps.
Yes. Goosebumps. But yeah, that's all I wrote. So sorry, I went on a tangent because I think Fall of the House of Usher is kind of what we need right now, and I hope it gets people reading Edgar Allan Poe again. So
I keep meaning to read Edgar Allan Poe because Lou Reed was such a fan, and I keep meaning to pick some up, and I get distracted.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Who
I would recommend if you do it, Carrie. Find yourself a big, thick anthology book.
There you go.
Oh, that's the Barnes and Noble one.
That looks like everything you need there.
It's literally everything. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's right there for you.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I got a short list. It's a spooky month, so we started Cabinet of Curiosities, Guillermo del Toro.
Started?
Yeah, we hadn't watched it yet.
I need to finish it.
It's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anthology series, so
I got to the autopsy episode last year and had to stop.
Yeah, that's the last one we watched.
That's where I stopped. I think that's where I stopped too. Is that autopsy episode? And I was like, oh, okay, I need a break, and then just never revisited it.
we did watch the next one, and it's got some really crazy stuff with goopy things and
real goopy.
It's a very goopy episode.
They're not all great. There's a couple of clunkers in there, but it's a pretty satisfying show.
It's an anthology show.
My biggest criticism is why couldn't they get Guillermo del Toro a suit that fits?
Oh, that poor guy.
Is the shoulders of the suit always go halfway down his bicep?
Lee may be able to back me up on this. That may be the only suit that he owns. And it may have been made just for this show, and I doubt he puts on suits.
Oh, because he's walking up and like introing each episode, and I'm just like, why?
Any time I've ever seen him, he's like the John Fetterman of directors. He's, just, yeah.
I mean, he's a big dude, and
you can get suits tailor-made so that the shoulders come up to where your shoulder end.
Yeah,
like, it looks like he's wearing his dad's suit.
Well, he may be, and maybe that's one of the stories in the anthology is where did Guillermo get his suit? Spooky.
So yeah, we've been enjoying that one. And then yesterday we watched Day Shift with Jamie Foxx.
First time?
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, first time.
Dude, that movie rules.
It was really good. Yeah, super fun movie. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one.
Because that movie, directed by a stunt man, and so that's why it's stunt heavy.
The first big fight scene between the grandma vampire and Jamie Foxx, there is so much contortion that she does. Like, it's wild.
You had me at Vampire Grandma.
Yeah, Vampire Grandma. And then I finished Baldur's Gate 3 this last week.
You finished it?
Finished it.
Wow.
What do you mean you finished it? I thought that was like an unfinishable game.
Oh, it's finishable. But it took me 130 hours to finish.
And now you can play it again with a different kind of character, and
I'm 100% going to do that.
Yeah.
Are you going to do more?
Meantime, it's
are you going to have
months.
More bangs or just the one still?
I'm gonna probably go one again, just one. Yeah, but a different character this time.
Okay.
Oh, Tony.
And then I started.
I gotta know who you banged in Baldur's Gate, Tony.
Oh, Shadowheart, man.
Obviously.
Traditionalist.
So, and then I started Resident Evil Village for a spooky month, and that's been really cool so far. That game is okay. So I hope they explain this later on in the game. But there's a scene like 2 hours in where your hand gets cut off all the way, chop, boom, and the hand stays gripped to the handle it was pulling on. Your character gets up, walks over, pulls the hand off, finishes fighting, and then you just take some like ointment and sprinkle it on the stump, and then put the hand back on, and he's just like, that kind of hurt. I think I'm okay now.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's like, he's not a zombie. Why can he reattach a limb?
Zombies.
Have you gotten to the one like really? So because I bought this game and then played it for 5 minutes and then emailed Steam and was like, oh, I want my money back. This is too scary.
Spooky.
Have you? So I watched a playthrough of it. And have you gotten to like the really like scary thing?
Yeah.
I don't think so yet. I've taken out 2 of Lady Demiscu's daughters. Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
Not taken out like on a date, like killed.
Chili's.
But, yeah, not Chili's.
Chili's
We went
with
to
a vampire.
Applebee's.
Isn't
and
Chili's
then
with
they
a vampire a Tom Waits song? I went to Chili's with a vampire.
So yeah, that one's a lot of fun so far.
Rebecca?
Fall of the House of Usher. So Fall of the House of Usher is the end of Netflix's contract with Mike Flanigan, which I think they should do what they can to get a new contract in place, because Mike Flanigan, he's exactly their bread and butter, right? Like he does one season of a show and then does a new show, and each one is a banger and a good one. So I just want. Well, yeah, he's a little rough with like animal cruelty stuff. Like definite animal cruelty warning for Fall of the House of Usher in episodes 3 and 4. But I finished it in 2 days and was absolutely obsessed. So loved it. And then I watched Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like everybody else has said, like it's pretty formulaic and something like we've seen this before, but I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
A great soundtrack. I thought it had a killer soundtrack. But yeah, it's fun, you know.
How did you like the grandma at the end with the big gun?
Well, the thing about the Blue Beetle is Jaime is very much like, no killing. I'm not killing anybody. And then his family is like, like
Rock
just
and
kill
roll.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it.
I have had a crazy kind of week. I haven't had much to watch. I do have trees planted in my backyard, though.
Congratulations.
So there was that. But I've been trying to forge ahead with my, watch all the shows related to science fiction double feature, the opening song of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which gives a long list of all of these shows. So I'm at, then something went wrong for Fay Ray and King Kong. They got caught in a celluloid jam. So I found on Turner Classic Movies, there's King Kong. Okay, great.
I wish I could get Turner Classic Movies. So jealous.
1933. And we started watching it last night and stopped.
Not good.
Oh.
Well, no, I've seen it before, and
that's it.
It's just not a good movie.
What?
I know. Heresy.
Well, I mean, personal
I think
taste,
most
right?
old movies are dookie.
Well, it's just, what was bothering me wasn't the movie itself necessarily. It was all of these directors who say, oh, the original King Kong is a great film. Great film. These are the same directors who shit on Marvel movies. Look at King Kong. It's a Marvel movie.
Take that.
But it was the first Marvel movie.
It is a Marvel movie.
Sure.
And it's not well acted. It's not well written. I'm sorry. I know it's groundbreaking.
3 years into talkies, Carrie.
I know.
They're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
It is not a good movie. I'm sorry. This is heresy, but it's just not good.
How do you think I felt when I read Dune?
I know,
Trying
right?
to talk about that.
But no, I mean, I remember watching King Kong years ago going, oh, yes, groundbreaking film. It's got some problems. Groundbreaking film, though, you know. But now I'm like, I think it's these directors that shit on Marvel movies because I'm like, you keep referencing this.
Yeah.
This, I'm sorry, I get more involved in character development. Star Wars, there's a good example. The first Star Wars was shit on by so many directors because, it's just popcorn. I'm like, that's what King Kong was trying to be.
Oh, yeah.
At its time, it was trying to be a popcorn movie. It didn't. It wasn't. There was no character development. I mean, sorry.
No.
It was trying to be a popcorn movie, and now you get a popcorn movie, and you shit on that popcorn movie because it's not King Kong.
So
not old
are
enough.
you upset with King Kong or with the people that think King Kong's better than Marvel movies?
That's where I'm at. That's
'Cause
where
I watch King Kong, and it's no different than James Whale's Bride of Frankenstein. It's no different than Close Encounters. It's no different than Star Wars in that it was revolutionary for when it was made and inspired a whole generation of filmmakers.
Yes.
I mean, this is the beginning. Dan O'Brien turned around and like Ray Harryhausen came up through this.
Mm-hmm.
This is all of the movies of the 50s and 60s happened because of King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
then it's significant, but yeah,
Okay,
it's
but
weak,
call
it's weak by now. Sure.
Well,
That's the thing. Those are the kinds of movies, and Dune is the kind of book that you have to read or watch through the lens of this is the foundation that everything I love is built on. And when things get built on foundations, it usually builds better than what came before it.
then these directors should say, not a great movie, but inspirational.
Yeah.
Call it inspirational. Don't say it's a great movie.
Well, some of these guys were, teenagers when this movie came out. Like Scorsese, he was
Yeah.
probably in the theater.
Scorsese talks about King Kong. He says such a great movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you know what? You shit on Marvel movies.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid,
Sorry.
I thought Condor Man was amazing, and it really wasn't. It's the Who's on First parable though. Like you get somebody who's real into comedy, and you play old Abbott Costello, and they go, "Yeah, so."
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it through the lens of what came
Right.
before, you go, "Whoa, this is
Yeah.
amazing."
No,
Exactly.
I get into arguments all the time about Citizen Kane. People keep trying to tell me Citizen Kane is not a good movie, and I'm like,
It's amazing.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm 50-50. I see the importance of King Kong, but it's these modern day directors who shit on popcorn movies because that's what they were making. They were making a popcorn movie at the time. There were a lot of other great movies that were being made at the same time. These guys were making a popcorn movie. Don't call it high art and shit on Marvel at the same time, or Star Wars even, for that matter.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I think most of these old dudes, and I think I've probably said this before, I think most of these old dudes are just looking at something controversial to say to get attention on whatever movie they're working on.
Could be.
And they're
Be.
probably sitting down and watching the latest Marvel movie and having a great time anyway. So,
I won't admit it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Games before we go. Tony, can you explain this whole Activision purchase by
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, can you just do a real quick?
I can. I can do it
Yeah.
in like 3 sentences.
Is it good or bad? Is this
I think it's good.
okay?
And a lot of people I talk to think it's good too. So Activision, Blizzard, and King for mobile games, they're one company, and Microsoft has purchased them now. So they are a wholly owned entity of Microsoft. However, Phil Spencer, who runs all of Microsoft's Xbox division, has said that there's no plans right now, and for quite a while, that anything that's multi-platform from Xbox and Blizzard will stay multi-platform and not become an Xbox exclusive. So the guy that runs Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, he's kind of a douche.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good to see a company that has such a lot of good intellectual properties and game history and stuff like that coming under a company that I think is going to take advantage of that portfolio, like Phil Spencer will and Xbox, rather than the Bobby Kotick Call of Duty yearly machine turnout. That's all they do anymore. Is just Call of Duty every year.
Yeah.
And then once in a while you get a Blizzard sequel, Diablo 4 or World of Warcraft expansion number 47. So I think it's really good.
All
I
right.
think it means we're going to see a lot of good stuff in the next few years from Activision Blizzard.
Thank you.
You've kind of inspired a challenge, Gary.
What?
Your King Kong rant. I kind of
Oh,
want to
no.
challenge folks watching right now to go back and watch some of my favorite horror movies from the 50s and 60s. Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. The Mask of the Red Death with Vincent Price. There's the first Planet of the Apes movie. A lot of these movies are, by today's standards, kind of schlocky, but watch them with a critical lens and see how they inspired things. The old Hammer Dracula movie. You watch the old Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing horror movies, the Dracula movies, especially like I think it was Dracula 73, where he transports to swinging hippie London, and it's horrible. But watching it for the entertainment value, especially from the lens of the time that it was made, and I think you'll definitely have not only fun homework, but recognize how good we have it now.
Well, and that's another reason that I'm doing this is I need to remind myself of the roots. You know, so It Came from Outer Space is the next on the list. So I'll let you know about that probably next week. All right.
2 games coming out this week, though, that I do want to mention.
Yes.
Alan Wake 2. And the first Alan Wake came out like 10 years ago, but it was really good. And this is the same company, same developers. Alan Wake 2 is looking really good. Xbox exclusive, Xbox and PC. And then Spider-Man 2 comes out this week.
I was going to say, is it Spider-Man time? Is it Spider-Man time?
Yeah. So I'm very excited for that.
Those are great games. Such good games. All right. Thank you all for, joining us at this time and and I think we're
Semi-live.
semi-live. And are we doing an after party? I think we can do an after party.
We don't have it scheduled.
Oh,
or
we don't
set
have
up
it
or
set
anything.
up.
We don't have it set up. Okay,
Or
so
promoted, or
we won't have an after party this week, but next week.
Next week for sure.
Pretend right now that we're at BREWVIES.
Sitting in the dark watching a movie.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting in the
Just
dark.
go watch Monster
Yeah.
Squad.
You
Yeah,
do
'cause
go
there's-
watch Monster Squad. I'm going to watch it again. I haven't watched it since it came out, and I hated it because I was 17 and edgy as hell.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a Fred Decker directed movie from a script by Shane Black. It's probably amazing.
You know Shane Black, who
Yeah.
did all those great movies.
Iron Man 3.
Oh, Shane Black.
Yeah.
That guy.
Kiss
Yeah.
Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah,
Predators.
I thought it was a Guy Ritchie thing for a minute, but no, Shane
No.
Black. That
Shane
makes
Black.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
you get mixed up.
Shane Black. Shane Black, the man who probably brought. We wouldn't have Tony Stark.
The Nice Guys. You know what? Go watch The
Guys is
Nice Guys.
amazing.
The Nice Guys deserves a sequel. I wish we could
Yes.
have a Nice Guys sequel.
It does. It does. Yeah,
Good movie.
we wouldn't have had Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man if it hadn't been for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So
That's true.
we owe this man. We owe this
All
man.
right. Well, again, thank you. We'll see you next week. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Push the button.
I'm doing it. I'm pushing it.